Hi everybody, Scott Jewers here again with another entry in the Wolf in the Know Network. This video was taken July 27th, 2023, and was taken at RCMP Sheet Harbour. It shows that I did present the evidence, I was calm, cool, and collected, and gave the opportunity for these individuals to contact me, showing I've done my due diligence in this regard. Alright, say hi to the camera. You stay here. I'm only going to be a few minutes, okay? Hopefully they don't do anything to me. I love you, buddy. I love you in case they do, okay? I love you. You stay. You be good. It's okay. I'll be right back. Tell me that's not hawk howling. Oh. Well, hi there. How are you? I have some papers to drop off. Is there an officer around? Hi, how are you? Good. I'd just like to drop these off. I've made several copies for Chad, Justin, Jessica, and there should be an extra copy there as well, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, you want to contact me. I reached out to CSIS and I reached out to RCMP directly at headquarters and provided them with this as well. And the videos have been posted to Facebook as well. There's quite a bit of evidence there. I mean, you guys can take that how you'd like to take it. If you have any questions, you can contact me, okay?
What is this exactly?
It's a review of the last 4 years regarding serious instances of abuse and fraud stemming from J.D. Irving going through RCMP and several individuals through the government.
Okay. Did you make a complaint, like a file or anything?
Yes, I did. I've opened a complaint with the official complaints commissioner, I guess, for RCMP, and all this has been submitted to them as well. I wanted to provide this so that the officers have the right to be able to defend themselves appropriately. You know what I mean? Like that I'm not trying to hide anything, and that it's all there, and there are redundant copies and stuff.
So I guess I don't really understand. So you made a complaint through the complaints, or did you make a complaint to the RCMP?
I made a complaint to the RCMP, but also to the complaints. I'm not sure if they're at the commission or,
okay.
But the Civilian Review Board. That
okay.
Would be, yeah. That's correct.
Like you made a public complaint?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's also in there, and the recordings and all the details regarding that complaint are also in there. Again, so any officers that were involved will have the ability and the information to be able to defend themselves appropriately.
Okay. Did anyone give you a file number or anything?
Yeah, I don't know what it was, though.
Okay.
But I did contact them and I reached out to them and I made all the videos available to them as well. I should state, like, just in case you're wondering about my credentials, I'm a global technical expert. I'm a systems analyst and a software engineer. I've worked for Research in Motion, I've worked for Dalhousie, and I've worked for Canada's National Shipbuilder. I was being scouted for the IT manager position. So I have serious credentials to back everything that I'm stating there.
So when it says like you have enough evidence to arrest a premier of Nova Scotia in 48 hours, you give 24 hours to come forward on the ring.
That's correct.
What's the allegation with that?
Conspiracy. That he understands that this has happened. And as one of the videos you can watch in regards, that's video number 5. This was ongoing for some time, and the night that my mother had passed, he showed up at the hospital. Because they knew how bad this was, and I'd hoped that he would speak to me, but he didn't speak to me, and that leads me to believe that given the situation that they would have expected me to be emotional at the time, that it might have been to set me up. I don't know. I have reached out to have them contact me, and I spoke to Jessica in regards to it. If he'd like to refute that and state that he wasn't there or whatever, that's completely acceptable and responsible.
Right. So these are just copies of the videos with the evidence supporting what you're
Everything.
claiming,
And
you just want these to be given to the numbers here?
Yes, just so they could reasonably defend themselves, and there should be 4 copies, so then 1 can be put on official complaint or however you guys would like to handle that.
Okay.
It's pretty good. You know what, man? I only aimed for 70%. I think I'm hitting 85 plus. So there's nothing threatening or anything. I don't have any feelings of like threatening anybody or anything like that.
So you're saying like domestic terrorism? Who's making direct domestic terrorism?
Well, what happened is that the issue became compounding. So what I'm stating is that I made an argument that given the polarized political and personal ideologies of those involved, and showing the clear preference that at some point it tipped into a form of terrorism, that the law is not being equally applied to these individuals, and then what they chose to do, full well knowing the evidence existed, is a form of terrorism. And I mean, like I said, if the police don't wish to go that route or CSIS doesn't choose to go that route, then that at least it'll be down on paper why. You know what I mean? I think I've gone through the criminal code and stuff enough that I have the case laid out. And I do have all the criminal code provisions, and they will be sent out accordingly before any types of actions or anything are taken. Okay? And like if you guys need to contact me, Jessica has my number. Like again, I feel completely fine. And
Scott, right?
I'm Scott, yeah, you got it. That's right. So I know this might seem confusing. It might seem like that. And I'm not trying to trick anybody, and I really did. Like, my biggest thing is I didn't want the officers to have to get involved in this, you know? Like, it's unfortunate that they did. It's really unfortunate. It really is, because I have no issues with the police. And before all this had occurred, I really truly believed in reconciliation. And I really went on both sides of this, that I supported the police. And you'll see that when you go through the videos, directly with the Premier and the Prime Minister, I supported mental health funding and different initiatives to help the police. So this isn't like some sort of like, attack on one side or this side. I tried to be as balanced as I could and not show a political preference.
Okay.
And I tried to be as balanced as I possibly could. I've released all of my evidence and data for 100% transparency. And that includes some very embarrassing things about myself, because it is fair to do. And there are recordings, there are massive amounts of video evidence or written evidence. It's quite compelling. And I've spoken to lawyers in regards to this. I've spoken to teachers, I've spoken to a lot of people, and within minutes of looking at the evidence, they're like, holy shit, these people came after you. And it's like, yeah, they did.
Okay.
That's
So
right.
like, I don't think we've ever actually met. Like, I think the only time
Yeah, don't think.
the only time I ever talked to you was one time Justin and I were trying to find you with your mom to get a hold of you.
Oh, that was Glenda, yeah. Okay,
So
yeah.
I don't know anything about this at all. So what exactly, if you could like briefly summarize what this is about? Just, you've explained like your evidentiary stuff, but I don't know what the issue is exactly.
That's right. So in 2019, I worked for J.D. Irving at Irving Shipbuilding.
Okay.
And I noticed some really strange stuff going on. And I started to get harassed by my supervisor and stuff. And Eventually, my wallet goes missing.
Okay.
And right there, I mean, so anyways, and that just happens to show up with these police officers just after I filed a complaint with J.D. Irving that something was going on. And then those officers moved on to get jobs at J.D. Irving immediately after. So there were some concerns about that, but that wasn't really the core concern. So what we did was we did an investigation at J.D. Irving. I did it with the VPs, directors. It involved the Defense Minister of Canada, and it involved like some very serious people. During that investigation, I noticed my GPS location set to 96663 Stillwater, Nova Scotia. That's my GPS location, right? And I couldn't figure out why. And when I went and looked at the land records for this individual, I found out who they were, and I found pictures of them at Irving Shipbuilding. You see what I'm saying? And then upon further investigation, it does appear that there are military contracts associated with that address. I didn't know that until much later on. My main goal in this was to not expose any type of like security services or military intelligence or anything like that. My goal was to defend myself, and had somebody spoken to me, I probably wouldn't have taken as far as I did, but I didn't know who it was, right? Imagine if your GPS location was set to somebody's place and you found all this evidence regarding their interactions with this, right? What I did was we did this investigation. I caught them laughing about mocking racism on recordings and throughout the investigation. And since I am a technical expert, I absolutely dominated them. RCMP, CSIS, HRP, nobody are refuting the technical evidence because I am a technical expert. That's why they did the investigation. Now, upon stating that I've absolutely dominated you, the next day the Premier resigned, Stephen McNeil. And now I only assign that event a 1% in my work because I don't really need it to explain the rest of the story and then what occurred. My biggest concerns, I would state that I might have actually came across an IMSI catcher or like some sort of like cellular retrieval software or hardware behind my house, where I'd also found a rope hanging like a noose. And that was reported to the Defense Minister, and that was reported to RCMP. I clearly went over my bias in regards to that. And stating like I can't prove this or that, but I have no reason to lie about this, and I was consistent in reporting these events. There were several events regarding stalking from different officers. It does appear that in December of 2019, the officer showed up making threats about my disabled mother. At the same time, my cousin and her neighbors, who live like 100 some kilometers away, I didn't know about this until later. They had reported that somebody was watching their children. One of the guys got really upset about it and cornered him. And when he cornered them, but he got out of his car shaking and said, "I'm a private investigator, please don't hurt me." They reported it to RCMP twice. RCMP did not contact them back. So these are, and there's a lot of scattered events like this. There's a lot of witnesses to everything that I'm saying. I didn't take it lightly. I tried to admit my bias at every point because I wanted to be fair about this. This was not to demonize somebody or like specifically target somebody. It was to understand what happened to me. So like there's some very serious events listed in there, and I mean, I'm not asking anybody to just believe me or anything like that. What I'm doing is I'm making the information available so that, like I said, all parties can reasonably defend themselves, because I think that that's fair.
And then, so are you saying you're just making this information like available to like whoever wants to see it, or are you like...
That's right.
Are you bringing it forward to someone?
I'm bringing it forward to someone, but I've also made it publicly available. The entire project's called the Wolf in the Neural Network.
Okay.
And you can go to that website and look it up. I'm not trying to advertise or anything like that, but it's a way of making it publicly available to everybody, and it's searchable, and all the videos are there.
Are you like bringing the information as like a complaint to like say the RCMP or...
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and so is this you doing that, or is this you just saying you're going to do that?
No, this is me doing that. The complaints are already in, and I just don't know what they've provided to you guys, and that's why I wanted to come up and just say, here you go, just so you guys also know what's going on. Due to the personal interest in this and some high-ranking RCMP officers involved, I don't know what they are or not telling you guys.
Okay.
So, I mean...
So you want them to have this?
That's right, so that then they can reasonably defend themselves, and if they state I've made an accusation that they don't agree with or anything like that, they have the right to be able to defend themselves, and I full-heartedly support that.
Okay.
And I full-heartedly support their opinion against me if they want to say A, B, or C, right? This isn't about me trying to convince anybody or anything like that. It's allowing them to make up their own minds in regards to what actually happened. I think it's the fairest way to approach this. I don't want to push my opinions on anybody or anything like that. I have no feelings of like anger towards anybody. I have no feelings of, I've never been violent or anything like that in my life. I'm pretty chill person, and if you look through the police reports, every time they've showed up, I've been calm, cool, and collected. And that's because this issue was so serious. Given the people involved, I had to be loud about this because I was worried about some form of retaliation, and yeah. So I don't feel like I really had a choice but to be loud. I tried to be as respectful as possible. Yeah, so I mean, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, you can reach out to me. I understand how you may or may not take this or this interaction right here. I'm just doing the best that I can.
Okay.
Right? So I mean,
Fair enough.
it's all good.
I'll pass it along and I'll...
Weren't expecting this today. Something different anyway, right? You'd be like, this is a unique one. This is a different one.
Definitely.
Hey, but like, thanks for hearing me out.
Okay.
And that's the best I can do, okay? It is.
Well,
Okay, well, thank you, and just thank everybody for me, okay? And tell them, like I said, I'm sorry that they had to get involved in this, okay?
will do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Idiot, I drove around his back first. It's recording. One more time. I believe somebody's coming. Oh, startled me. That's okay.
Sorry, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Welcome back from lunch. Good, thank you.
I figured. I was like, she might need a moment, so I was just going to hang out. That's why I was kind of off. And is there an officer around, or?
On the phone at the moment, I can see if he's going.
Yeah, if you could, I'd just like to give this to him personally.
Can I
I'll
just ask what his address is, or those asking?
Yeah, it's in regards to an ongoing issue that I was experiencing. I've already stopped it into RCMP in Sheet Harbour, and I just want to provide it to all the officers because some of them are named in this, so I just want to give them the opportunity to be able to properly defend themselves and see the evidence. Yep, it's Scott yours.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll see you when it's available.
Okay, no problem.
It just sounds like he's in a meeting there. I'm not sure how long he'll be. You're more than welcome to wait, or if you want me to pass along something to him.
Yes, I'll just give you a very quick general overview, and I'll write my phone number on it in case they have any questions. I don't want them to feel uncomfortable about this. All right. So I was dealing with an issue for the last 4 years, and at some point the RCMP from here did come check on me.
Okay.
And I wasn't really able to go into detail about the issue. I was still doing an investigation. This has to do with some pretty high-profile people in Nova Scotia and in Canada, but also some high-ranking RCMP officers. I really regret that they involved the officers down here and the officers in Sheet Harbour, and this is me providing them with the evidence up front, 100% transparency, so that they're able to defend themselves in any type of litigation that might occur, but also to understand the severity of the individuals that would be looking at them right now. In that, there's nothing really too bad. It's just that the officers that they had sent up, I caught them looking through my car. Not looking through it, but looking in the windows and looking around. The biggest complaint that's going to be put in regards to that was that they didn't allow me to file a complaint. And they were asked several times. So it's nothing too serious. Nothing happened that needs any type of immediate remediation or anything like that, okay? It's just that those incidents were mentioned. So I think it's only fair that they're able to responsibly defend themselves here. Now, in regards to this, like I said, you'll note the most concerning part will be this top part here, okay? It states I have enough evidence to arrest the Premier of Nova Scotia in 48 hours. That's not a threat or anything like that. This is me stating that once you review this evidence, you will see exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm just going to stop you just for a second.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure maybe if a member, like, on the
You're just, that's right.
No,
Well,
I'm here to pass along messages, but I don't know if maybe you want to speak in detail more to a member?
well, I'm gonna drop this off, and if they, what I'll do is I'd say if they have any questions, I would contact RCMP in Sheet Harbour, and that way it's police speaking to police, and it's not them speaking necessarily to me. I have a dog in the car right now and stuff, so I don't want to leave them. You know what I mean? And
so would you want to leave your number? Would you like?
yeah, I'll write my number on here. So like I said, I don't want there to be any problems like that whatsoever. And
are these copies of the same thing?
yes, yes, they are. And I did that just so that the officers themselves, anybody that might remember me, can take one for themselves. So you have one copy for your file, and then copies for any individual officers. Like I said, there's nothing too serious regarding them. I just want to make sure that this is fair and that the evidence is given to all parties in advance of any other events.
Can I ask you if you're recording that?
Yes, I am. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not going to be using it as any type. I'm not trying to trick anybody or anything like that. It's just that I have RCMP on recording making threats to me, and it's for safety for all parties, right? Like, I don't want them to do something thinking that it's okay because I don't have any representation, because right now the Premier is involved and the Prime Minister is involved in this and the Defence Minister of Canada, but also J.D. Irving. So I just don't want anybody to get in any trouble or whatever, that they don't have to, and that we have fair, respectful conversation about evidence, right? That's it. So, hey, well, thank you very much. Thank you for hearing me out,
Do you
okay?
live in the area? Is that why you're coming here?
Yes,
Or are you
yes.
actually Harbour?
I live actually right on the border. I live in Ecumsecum,
Oh, yeah,
so
okay,
it's like
yeah,
right by the
yeah,
bridge.
yeah,
So it's
right,
like
yeah, so it's
50-50.
right.
That's right, and I suspect that's why they had sent these RCMP at one point
Oh,
there, and our interactions have been very, very limited. It was only the one time,
Okay.
but
How long ago was that?
ooh, I think December.
Oh, yeah, just of this past
Yeah,
year?
that's right.
Okay,
That's right.
okay,
So,
yeah.
like I said, it's nothing too serious regarding those guys. It's just I want to make sure that all sides have the evidence, so we're all making responsible decisions. Okay.
Okay, great.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. You too.